Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Mirror. And what a run of life lessons cards we've had here over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And this still marks the fourth one that's out there for you. All right, now what just fell off was the Hooded Man. Okay, and you know, when I think about this card, one of the things that came up for me is yesterday was the Nine of Vessels and Generosity, so it was the number 9. And when I looked at the cards today, the card that fell off was number 9. So you know, I'm looking at the numerology piece of it, and I'm saying, okay, 9. You know, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. I really didn't, look into it too much, but I'm like, okay, watch for other 9s that come up. And then I drew this card, and the card number is 12. And it got me, I'm looking at the cards down below, and, you have the Shaman, which is card number 1, and the Seer, card number 2. Now, they came in as 2-1, not 1-2, but again, there's a sequence there, right? There's a sequence in those life lessons cards that are saying, the Hooded Man is to look within. The Mirror is telling you to look at your own reflection. Okay, not necessarily look within to your soul, but look within and how you project yourself out to others. Okay, do you see, when you look in the mirror, the person that you are? Okay, and what I mean by that is, we all put on different masks when we're out in public. Okay, or we have a different mask when we're at work. Have a different mask when we're with siblings, our older siblings or younger siblings. Different mask with your parents. Only you can see the true mask that you have. And really, let me rephrase that. You are the only one that sees you for who you are, because you don't wear a mask with yourself. When you look in the mirror and you see who you are, okay, that's, who you want to project to other people. But, we wake up, we get ready for work, maybe that drive-in is when we're putting that mask on. I've seen some women putting their makeup on while they're driving on the way to work. Not safe, but in that aspect, I understand it. They're putting that on, to help themselves as they get into work. All right, I want to say that to beautify themselves when when they walk into work, to look nice. And it's appreciative. All right, but at the same time, they're putting that mask on. And then, when they come home, they're taking that mask off. All right? When we come home, for myself, when I was at home, I felt safe. I didn't have to wear a mask. I could be who I truly was. When I'm out with when I was out with my boss or some colleagues, I had a different mask that I was wearing. And, I've realized here over the last 6-7 months that, what? I'm just going to be who I am. I'm going to be the best version of myself. Okay? And, that's what this card reminds me of. All right? It shows our inner reflections. It shows our inner desires. All right? And, the orb that she's holding up in this card also shows the shadows of our inner life. The shadows that we don't want other people to see. The shadows that we don't want other people to know about. All right? Now, years ago, I was in such a place that, nobody's going to ever touch me. I was in my own locked dungeon, in my castle, and nobody could get to me. It was like, I'm wearing this iron mask for nobody to see who I am and what I'm meant to be. And that put me in a dark spot. All right, and that's when we hide from those shadows, of our inner life, and we let those dictate what's happening in our life, we fail to grow. We fail to stop living. In all actuality, you're putting yourself out there to start dying. All right. And when you're locked away in something without that light, you don't have no hope and despair. And you let fear and worry and anxiety overwhelm you. But as soon as you start crawling up that well, and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and you get into the light, and you don't ever want to go back to that darkness. And that's where you have to look into those inner reflections. All right, looking in that mirror and saying to yourself, are you who you are meant to be today? Who are you going to be today as you're going out there? Are you going to be your true spirit, or are you going to be somebody with a mask on, to fit into the crowd? And some of that is also, do you speak your truth? Do you speak what's on your mind, right? So, when you're going through the process, one of the things, let me step back here a little bit. What drew my attention today was that sarcophagus in the boat, right? The body. And when we're looking at ourselves in those inner reflections and those shadows from that orb, it's kind of like we're cutting ourselves off from the world. You want to get from that boat to the other side, all right? And you want to be alive and kicking. You have to have some patience, some trust in the process of crossing to the island, all right? You may have to surrender yourself to what's going on out there. You may have to surrender yourself to the universe. All right, surrendering yourself to the seer or the shaman. To understand, where your spiritual path is going, or this path that you're on. It may not even be a spiritual path. However it's affecting you, right? But to get to the other side of whatever it is that you're on, you have to look deep within and ask yourself, am I ready to move forward? And you can ask that and say, first, the first thought that comes up, no, I'm not ready. I'm waiting on so-and-so, or, so-and-so's blocking my way. Or, we have a tendency to put up the negative, to put up the blocks, instead of just saying, you know what? Let spirit guide me. Let spirit guide me to that other side. And that's where, I was talking about the other day, where you just, I'm just going to let spirit flow through me. And, spirit's going to guide me as I'm walking through that forest or that pole star, the universe. You may have to surrender some things. You may have to give some things up. But when you look at yourself in the mirror, you learn those valuable insights. The other thing is, you have to ask those questions to yourself. And it's good to think those questions, all right? But when you voice them, when you give them the energy of your larynx and your throat, when you voice those concerns, when you voice those issues in front of that mirror, that sound might bounce off the mirror and back at you. Okay, but it's resonating through wherever you're at, bathroom, house, okay? And it's emanating out to the universe for the universe to come back and give you those answers. And at the time, you may not think about it. But when you lay down at night, you might have dreams. You may have visions. Maybe even it's, if you're at work, you may have those dreams and visions. Little snippets of how to solve that issue. How to understand, how to move forward. And when you can actually, those are the riddles that the seer is talking about. All right? That's the message that the shaman's trying to tell you about too, for manifesting, what's going out, in your life. Let it come naturally for you, in your soul, and let the spirit discern, where you need to be, where you need to go with the issue that you have on hand. And that's where healing can begin. All right. Now you do have, the night or the king of vessels down there with you as well, that heron, to help guide you through the emotional stuff, to help guide you through, the water energy, the psychic energy. All right, and let that journey begin by just looking into the mirror. Let that journey begin by looking inward to your reflections, looking inward to your soul. Take on that hooded man, but look at the shadows of the orb, the inner shadows which you're afraid to show. All right, maybe there's a way that you can go ahead and bring those to the forefront, so you can lessen those shadows. All right, and then when you look in the mirror, you're not as afraid of what you see. Awareness is a big thing for me. Just like I was talking earlier about the 9s, all right, and the number 12. All right, when you become aware of that energy, when you look in the mirror and you become aware of that energy bouncing off the mirror, right, the resonance in your voice, when you can become aware of the energy, then you can share it. Then you can apply it to that inner wisdom, all right? And then you can go ahead and deal with the world and all its challenges that are out there. Okay, and like I said, this is the fourth life lessons card that's down here, and actually the 5th with that hooded man, okay, that just dropped off. But yesterday we talked about that 9 of vessels, that generosity. Maybe your generous spirit is allowing you to look in the mirror and say, how much more I can be generous. And that King of Bows say, where do you need to take charge with that generosity? As I said, manifesting the shaman energy, listening to the seer with the riddles, dreams, and visions, opening yourself to the universe, and not allowing yourself to become frustrated. All right? It's easy to become frustrated when we look at ourselves and say, you know what? I should be doing this today. I should be doing that today. All right? But don't get frustrated with it, because it's all a learning process. It's all about growth. It's all about moving forward. And as that King of Bows also says, where is your enthusiasm leading you? Where is he leading you as you're looking into the mirror? Are you enthusiastic when you look into that mirror? What do you see? What do you see when you look, within your own eyes and look into your soul? How do you want others to perceive you? How do you want others to, to see you for who you really are? Are you hiding in that orb? To not let yourself out? Are you hiding behind issues that, will, hurt you, with stability and security? Again, that's what that life lessons card teaches you, the mirror. And, if you can look in those, into that mirror and see your own inner reflection and have an answer to what's going on, and, satisfy those inner shadows of your inner life, and that's good. That means you're moving on, you're progressing. So that's today's card of the day, the mirror. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others. This is D for His Spirit's Path, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, stay safe, everybody.